Alright, guys, welcome back to the Dragon Guide DOA6 edition. We're into part 3 now. So this time we'll be covering everything related to Jann Lee's wall game, all the options that you have from it, how to pressure, your wall combos, some pieces of tech here and there, you know. But before we get started, something that I actually forgot to mention in the past 2 videos is that any suggestions or any subjects that you feel or you'd like to see a dragon guide on, something like a dragon guide follow-up, a series we had in DOA5, feel free to suggest that. I'm open to all suggestions, and I'd be down to tackle those types of things, even if it's not related to Jann Lee specifically, like how to approach the neutral, general tips, stuff like that. Yeah, be sure to let me know. But with that introduction out of the way, let's just get right into it. So one thing that I did mention in the first part of the guide, if there is one thing that you can salvage out of Jann Lee and just highlight, is his wall game. His wall game is exceptionally strong. I don't think I exaggerate when I say that he might have the best wall in the game, if not one of the best wall games. Simply because of just the sheer amount of options that you have. You can reset the opponent with your wall throws. You have a million options to wall splat, resets, everything that you can think of, just you can probably do with this character at the wall. So that's one of the aspects that just makes it so strong. So for starters, you have a ton of ways of wall splatting the opponent, like I just said. So for regular wall splats, you have your basic, your all around good 6-6k, just for a quick mid-kick wall splat, right? In terms of mixing up the opponent and the options that they have to look out for, you also have a high wall splat in the form of 6h plus k. I'd say that this is his best high wall splat, simply because it's the fastest. You can transition into Dragon Stance like we saw in the previous part of the guide. So yeah, it is very good. You can also attempt a wall splat from a low. You have 2 options. You have 2kk, right? And you have 1pk. So these all both lead into potential wall splats. Of course, the opponent has the option of holding the follow-ups, but that's part of the mix-up. You can just re-cancel it and then go for the throw. In the case of 1pp, you can just go for the mid-punch follow-up. You don't really get much of a wall combo after that, but again, it's good for mixing up the opponent. And then you also have the option of wall splatting with mid-punches. You have various options like 6p plus k, for example. It's a really good way of wall splatting the opponent with a mid punch. Only really works on stun though. But you also have the option of utilizing p plus k. P plus k is an option that you can do at the wall to wall splat. You get a neat little follow up, right? The interesting thing with p plus k though is that if the opponent does manage to block this, the main reason why P plus K is stronger than neutral and good as a keep out tool is because the pushback makes it safe, even though this is actually unsafe. So if the opponent manages to block this by the wall, you are basically unsafe. So you have to keep aware of that. But yeah, that's it for like the standard type of wall splats. Now DOA6 added a mechanic, not really new, but it was the concept of wall splat Reese Dance, right? So this is similar to what we had in DOA4. You would wall splat an opponent, but this is considered a stun state, right? So the opponent has the option of holding, break holding. Yeah, the follow-ups after this are not guaranteed. But you have a lot of ways in making this very optimal or very safe. So as you saw right there, you also have various options for this. To achieve this, you have 3k, just your general 3k. for a quick mid kick wall restand. By itself, it won't cause this. It's a similar situation to some other moves like 6K. You need either a counter hit or for the opponent to be in stun, right? So, you know, as an extension of this, the follow-ups to 3K and, you know, 4K also cause a standing wall splat, right? And there is some application to this, namely after a Dragon Gunner. You can get both of these for free, right? We'll talk about this more a little bit in I guess a small section that we're doing later on the Dragon Gunner. But yeah, these are also very strong options. You know, you get your wall restand by also causing a mix-up, so that's pretty strong. You also have the H plus K to cause a wall restand. This can have a little bit of utility. For example, if you're in a knockdown situation right there by the wall, you know, and you can get a read on a low wake up kick or something, you can hop over them and basically wall splat them again. Let me see if I can showcase that here. Set the reaction to low kick. You know, you get any type of wall splat, and you can get them like that, right? So it's a very strong option if you can actually get that read. And then similar to that, you also have, again, one of my favorite moves, 4PP. Now this can get very tricky and very scary for the opponent, because as you saw right there, this will not only wall restand the opponent, but also put them immediately in a lift stun situation, right? This is all guaranteed. The opponent cannot hold in between. It is a natural combo, so it is immediately a very scary situation. You also have, of course, the chance of transitioning into stance. We cover that as well. How you have your three-way mix-up when you go into a stance at the wall. We covered that in the previous part. So yeah, I mean, all is immediately active. Of course, you can't get any more wall splats because you've technically already used the wall splat property that you have, but that doesn't mean that you can't utilize stuff like P plus K or your fatal rush. You know, you have a ton of options from that, right? So yeah, in terms of wall splatting, Jann Lee has many options. You can mix up the opponent very easily. So yeah, I mean, in terms of getting your raw damage or setting up for more resets or more damage, it's very easy to do with this character. So now for more general setups, we'll be covering the two main options that you have in terms of wall combos. You really are only going to be looking for these two when it comes to actually doing wall combos in the opponent. So the first is, you know, your max damage all around just useful wall combo. It's that right there. It's a little bit of a variation on the old DOA5 combo. The difference is that now you get your wall splat, you go into 9K into 9P, 9P4, you do the K for the reflow, and then you do your 6K for 6K, right? For the ender. So that is your all-around max damage wall combo option, right? You know, if you just want to cash out your damage, get another wall splat there, you know, keep him at the wall, that's a good option. Now, a not so commonly used but still very strong option is doing the same thing but then ending the combo with 5K 4K, right? This is possible again because 5K does no longer wall splat in this game. It used to in DOA5. They removed that property. Now this move cannot wall splat. It used to be your best high wall splat because, you know, it's of course a 12 frame move, but it doesn't cause that anymore. But it allows you to get this wall combo instead, which is very good. Now the reason why you would want to do this is that 5K 4K actually has I guess a little bit of a follow-up, a status change. If you keep holding back after performing the move, you'll actually leave yourself back turned, right? So this can be immediately used in this wall combo. simply to create space. You know, you get the combo, you go into back turn and then you backdash, right? And that already creates a lot of distance between you and the opponent. You know, you can bait them into simply getting up, or if they do attempt something like a wake up kick, you know, you have all this space to with punish it, you know, keep it going. It is not very unlikely that you'll come into a situation where you wall slide the opponent, you do this wake up kick, you do it again, and you just keep repeating, right? It has happened before, so it's a very strong option. Outside of that, you can also go for some I guess Oki right after this, something like that. You know, you have options. So it's a strong version of the wall combo as well. It's more setup heavy. You are sacrificing a little bit of damage, but it's definitely a strong option that you have. But now, actually getting into the nitty gritty of it, the reason why this character just becomes so aggressive and so scary at the wall is, you know, in DOA you have your triangle system, right? And your high counter holds and high counter grabs, right? It's all very damaging. Now, all Jann Lee's throws at the wall have a wall variation, and they do a lot of damage. If you get hit by the quarter circle back throw at the wall, you basically just explode. But you know, the real star of the show here is, of course, your forward throw, right? The classic Fist of Fury throw. You got this back in DOA3, but of course you didn't have the stance transition back then. You only got that in DOA5. So now you get a combo throw prompt there, but that basically just means that you are allowed to transition into stance after you do this, right? So if you've watched the dragon stance guide that we did before, you can start putting one and one together and start seeing like the potential for all the broken stuff that you can do at the wall with this. So, you know, you get a myriad of options. You get all kinds of wall splats, resets. You know, you have your options for quick wall splats, regular stuns. You can go into your fatal rush, of course. You know, if the opponent does not have any meter, that's basically gonna spell the end of the round for them, potentially. You know, it's very scary. And if that wasn't enough, you of course also have access to your Dragon Gunner at the wall. Now this is enhanced at the wall simply for the reason that you're left much closer to the opponent. You know, various other options and follow-ups that you don't have access to mid-screen open up here. You know, you have very quick, very strong ways of getting guaranteed damaging wall combos from it, so that in itself is very good. But you know, like we talked about a little bit ago, you know, you have the option of going to 5k 4k. Getting the wall restand that way is a very strong underrated option, simply because, you know, the opponent has the option of holding the mid in the middle. You can just simply go into the high, for example, very easily mix them up, and if they do hold, you're not in that bad of a situation, you know. Of course, break hold does exist, if that can mitigate a lot of your options, but you know, it's more of a mentality mix up at that point, I guess. If you know your opponent has meter and you get them in a wall combo reset, you know, you can be a little bit more conservative, maybe just transition into stance, wait to see what they do, you know, bait them out. The cool thing about this wall throw as well is that, like you see right here, the opponent has to fall to the ground that way. They cannot perform a wake up kick from that position, so you're very safe for any potential life follow-ups you might want to do. You know, even if you bait them out and they don't do anything, you still have the option of just putting something on their wake up, right, without any risk involved. So it is very strong for that reason. And then you can go into even more like unexplored options from the Dragon Gunner. For example, you have your 7k, right? You can directly transition into stance for your 3-way mix-up. Very scary stuff, you know, can lead into a lot of damage. Setups, like, yeah. The sky's the limit when Jann Lee is by the wall, basically. You also have the option of utilizing this. I very recently started using this. It's a very strong option. You can go into your full APPP string, right? The last hit will also cause a wall restand. This is very good for mix-ups because, you know, you can stop it at any point. You know, and bait the opponent to hold. They'll want to hold because, you know, if they get hit by the third hit, the wall restanded. And again, you can get the first hit for free. Just reset them again, right? That would be in the scenario that they hold right there. But even if they don't, you can still just delay it, go for it again, right? The options are endless. You of course also have the chance of doing resets, like I mentioned before. You can do something like a quick 2P, right? Reset the neutral, but basically go for another wall reset. Again, the options that you have out of this are just endless. I also forgot to mention, as if all this wasn't enough, that you also have the option of directly transitioning into your fatal rush after a dragon gunner at the wall. If the opponent does not have meter, I don't think I need to explain how devastating that is. But yeah, you can just launch after that, you know, go for any type of setup. Yeah, just basically you can let your creativity run wild with this character at the wall. It is one of my favorite aspects of him as a character. But yeah, in terms of actually just like the set play and the options that he offers, it is very easy to just like 2-touch kill an opponent, right? If you guess wrong, like I want to say like 2 times against this character at the wall, you are on the risk of losing like anything from 60 to 80% health, if not just outright just dying right there, right? So yeah, tons of options. Very scary to be against the wall against this character. Right, I do believe that will be it for this little guide, little breakdown on Jann Lee's wall game. Relatively not as many things to talk about as some of the previous parts, but like I mentioned, if you know your options, if you study everything that we talk about in this video, it all really comes down to each individual player's creativity, you know, the options that you choose in your wall game, how you mix up the opponent. It's a very free-form aspect of the character, and I really like that. But yeah, like I mentioned in the intro, any suggestions that you guys have, you can feel free to leave those in the comments. I really appreciate all the support that you guys have given the series and the new format. But yeah, you can contact me anywhere really outside of the comments, you know, and give me suggestions for any future episodes or any future topics that you might want to see. But I believe that will be it for this part. Again, thank you so much, you guys, for watching. All those that stayed to the end, it is very appreciated, and I hope to see you in the final part of the Dragon Guide. Cheers.